Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Facebook Live. I'm here with my best friend and sister, Coach Natalie Jones. How's everyone doing? Natalie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. How are you today, Ian?
I'm good. Like I tell you every time, I love doing Facebook Lives and seeing our veterans and welcoming them to our show, as you could say it could be called. But we'll have a great topic here today, and we'll talk about that here too. But if you want to go ahead and get in the chat and shout out your coach if you got one, if you don't, who you served, when you served, and most of all, thank you for your service to our country. Veteran to veterans, we're both veterans here. So, and we'll get that kicked off here in a moment here as well. But yeah, just go ahead and put in the channel in there in the chat of who you served with, when you served, and most of all, welcome home to a team of veterans and like-minded people that have a same mindset as Natalie and I do.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. I don't see anyone putting anything. There you go. Hey, Barry. Good morning.
Good morning, Barry.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
Marie.
afternoon actually, or wherever you are. Like I say, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on the time zone you're in. And that's the basis of that too. Here we go. Here's some people. Howdy, Barry. Sherman, Marine Corps, 80 to 83. Barry, 91 to 95. Good morning, David. Or afternoon, wherever you are. Oh, here you kind of trickling in now.
Yeah. Got some Navy. Hoo-yah.
Yep.
Ricky Cortez, 21 years. That's awesome.
Glenda, good morning, good afternoon. We served around the same time in the Army. I was also an Army vet, but I got out in 15. Some more Army, some Air Force. I think I saw a Coast Guard in there too. Yep. Good morning, Harry. Morning, Jay.
Good morning, Edgar. In Illinois, U.S. Navy. Beautiful. Fun
She's gonna
fact.
shout out a lot. She's gonna shout out a lot of Navy. She was a naval officer, so you're gonna hear a lot of
Was
Navy.
sorry. I was gonna go with the fun fact. My husband's actually in boot camp in Great Lakes right now.
Yep. So
Can anyone
thank
share
you
what
for
the weather's
his.
looking like? Because I have no clue what's happening.
I'm sure it's probably slightly chilly, if not cold,
I would
for the most
imagine.
part.
Reggie
To your
Canyon.
Army, to my Marine Corps, to my Coast Guard, to my Air Force vets, National Guard and Reserve vets, thank you for your service, each and every one of you. No matter when you served, what you served, or what you did as far as a job goes, it doesn't matter. You serve, you deserve. We say that each and every day. We tell our vets that each and every day. And if you are on the fence and you're looking to get signed up for our program, of course, you can reach out to one of our veteran ambassadors or to one of us. If you're just ready to go and you've got the ball already rolling and you already want to get things started, that's perfectly fine too. So we'll get that in there as well. And they'll be in the chat or in the channels too for you guys to check out. There'll be some links in there for you guys to check out. There'll be a lot of links throughout this entire presentation for you guys to check out too. But we're going to get things kicked off here in about a minute, probably roughly about 30 seconds if I had to gander to guess. And we'll do some introductions. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about today and all that stuff too. But again, everyone, thank you for your service. David, I see you there too. Edgar, Brian, Tony, thank you for your service as well. Each and every one of you. Some of the Vietnam vets. Jerry, thank you for your service as well. You guys hold a very large piece of my heart. My dad was a Vietnam vet, gunny sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. So thank you. All right, again, like I said, happy Wednesday to our veterans here. Thank you for spending some time with us today. And before we get started, today's topic, sound off in the comments like we said before. Let us know where you're tuning from, what your branch is, and your years of served, as we said before as well. So I served in the Army. I retired as a staff sergeant in the United States Army as a generator mechanic. I served in the 90s from 97 to 98. And that time I was actually mechanized infantry. Had some issues, so came back in 2005, stayed until 2015. deployed to Iraq, deployed to Afghanistan, and then came out medically retired at 90%. Found VACI by accident. I'll be honest. I became a veteran ambassador, which used to be known as a BDR. In a matter of 22 days, my sister and I both got to 100% permanent total on the same exact day. And we're called Hundo twins on the team for the longest time. I think we still are. Reside just outside of Austin in Central Texas. Absolutely love the weather here, except for today. It's slightly gloomy and cloudy and a little bit of rain, but we need it right now. But I am 100% permanent in total, and couldn't be happier for the benefits and the opportunities that I was given. My overall why was to get what I deserve and to be able to have the educational benefits for my kids and spouse if they so choose to use it. And of course, a property tax, of course, too. But Natalie, yes.
Love that for you. Love that for all of us. And for all of those going down this path, we love that for you too. We're hoping we you can get there. So for me, not as exciting. I spent 4 years in service in the U.S. Navy. I was a communications officer, and I was also medically discharged. I mean, I didn't get a chance to go anywhere. I foolishly chose a ship that was in dry dock. And so I didn't really get a chance to travel anywhere as we were getting worked up and, redoing the entire ship from start to finish. So from there, I mean, I got medically discharged as well, but that was at 60%, worked my way up to 90. And then I found VA Claims Insider also by luck. I had a friend that just sent me a job interview or a job description, and I had already been working with vets from 2015 on up, and just figuring out how to find veterans jobs, as a business developer, locating things for SkillBridge, and somehow made my way over here. And I've been here for about 4 years. Actually, I think it'll be 4 years tomorrow, I think. So super grateful to be a part of this niche group and being able to assist our brothers and sisters. I think that's, I'll leave it at that, and we can just kind of hop straight into the disclaimer before we get started. So just really quick. All right. So we are not accredited agents, VSOs, attorneys, or any other entity recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we are not affiliated with the VA in any way. VA Claims Insider is an education-based coaching company for disabled veterans exploring eligibility for increased VA disability benefits and who wish to learn more about that process. VA Claims Insider also connects veterans with vetted independent medical professionals in our preferred provider network for medical examinations and independent medical opinions, also known as IMOs, for a wide range of disability conditions. If you are to sign up for VA Claims Insider in our elite program, a few things that would definitely be gone over and that you can expect to receive, and that would be a strategy, education, and a coach that would make sure that you have all the proper medical evidence to make sure that you have a winning claim. So again, you're going to receive that one-on-one coaching. And then before you have any evaluations, you would receive education. You have all the resources at your fingertips through our site, as well as on an insider portal. So all I can say here is if you are interested, again, if you are on the fence, be good to either get signed up or reach out to a veteran ambassador and get that first call started, learn more about the process. We also offer live classes via Zoom. That's 3 times a day to include coffee with the coaches, which are typically on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have mental health exam education as well as medical exam education. So again, discovery call if you are interested in learning more about what we can provide and the strategy that could potentially get you to a winning claim. Please do sign up for that discovery call.
All right, we're going to dig into it. And what it is, the topic beyond the claim, or DIC benefits, healthcare, and education benefits. So really digging into it, and Natalie's going to start out with the dependency and indemnity DIC benefits. So I'm going to swing it back to Natalie.
Yeah, sorry about that. So the DIC benefits, this stands for dependency and indemnity compensation benefits. And so this is if you are a surviving spouse. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today isn't just for the vet. It's good information for you to know if you are the vet, but it can be information that you pass on to your spouse or to maybe to even your child. So if you're a surviving spouse, child, or parent of a service member who has passed away in the line of duty, or a veteran who died due to a service-related injury or illness, you may qualify for a tax-free monetary benefit. And again, that's known as the VA DIC. Okay, so in general, if your spouse passes away, you, the vet, passes away from a service-connected disability, or you were rated at 100% P&T, permanent and total, for more than 10 years, then your spouse or your child, qualifying child, may qualify for the DIC benefits. The minimum monthly amount is $16.53 and 7 cents. And that's for 2025, and that's for a surviving spouse. You can gather more information on this by heading over to the va.gov site. And actually, I've done it quite a bit myself. I haven't had to use it, but quite a bit myself, where if you go into the search bar in your va.gov, you can just type in DIC, okay, dependency and indemnity compensation. All right, so second benefit that a survivor can receive, this is the survivor's pension benefits. Okay, so this offers a monthly payment to qualified surviving spouses and unmarried dependent children. So your child still would need to be a dependent, but they cannot be married. And this is of wartime veterans who meet certain income and net worth limits, which are set by Congress. All right, so a person may be eligible for this benefit if, again, they haven't remarried after the veteran's death. So this is going to be speaking more specifically to a spouse. If they have not remarried after the veteran's death, and and if the deceased veteran didn't receive a dishonorable discharge. The service meets at least one of the requirements I'm going to list below. Okay. All right. So those requirements for the veteran specifically would be that they entered active duty on or before September 7th, 1980, and they served at least 90 days on active military service with at least 1 day during a covered wartime period. That's one. Or the veteran entered active duty after September 7th, 1980, and served at least 24 months, or the full period for which they were called or ordered to active duty, with some exceptions. And that is with at least 1 day of covered wartime period. All right, and then this another or here, right? So you don't have to have all of these, but or the veteran was an officer and started on active duty after October 16th, 1981, and hadn't previously served on active duty for at least 24 months. Okay, your yearly family income and net worth must meet certain limits set by Congress. Your net worth equals the value of everything you own except your house, your car, and most home furnishings. So if you have investments or things like that, and then that's minus any debt that you owe.
So let's talk about CHAMPVA benefits. If you're the spouse, dependent, or survivor or a veteran who meets certain service-connected disability requirements, you may qualify for health care benefits through Civilian Health and Medical Program of the Department of Veteran Affairs, also known as CHAMPVA. Requirements: you may only be eligible for health care through CHAMPVA if you don't qualify for TRICARE, and at least one of these descriptions is true for you. So you're the spouse or dependent child of a veteran who's been rated permanent and total disabled from service-connected disability, or you're the surviving spouse or dependent child of a veteran who died from a VA-rated service-connected disability, or you're the surviving spouse or child of a veteran who was at the time of death at their rated permanent and total disability for the service-connected disability. So you do need to be rated for that permanent and total, and most often it's going to be 100%. So all of those, and then again, ORs are all of those too. So it could be one of those three criteria. In certain cases, you may be eligible for CHAMPVA if you're the surviving spouse or dependent of a service member who died in the line of duty, not due to misconduct. Okay, and then the second one, and then those are very important too. And the second one is going to be the Chapter 35 DEA benefits. And this is the Dependents Education Assistant Program. So if you are a child or spouse of a veteran of a service member who has passed away, is missing or captured, or is being permanent and total disabled due to service-connected disability, you may qualify for the Survivors and Dependent Education Assistant Chapter 35 benefits. If you're 100% or you know somebody's 100%, like Natalie and I, you get it in part of your letter. It actually talks about this program, this DE program, and you're also sent a package or a pamphlet that explains it too. My daughter uses this currently, and it's a great program to utilize if you are 100% permanent total. You may be eligible for education benefits through Chapter 35 if both you and the veteran or service member meet certain eligibility requirements. One of these descriptions must be true for the veteran or service member. The veteran is permanently and totally disabled due to a service-connected disability, or the veteran died as a result of a service-connected disability, or the service member died in the line of duty, or the service member is missing in action or captured in the line of duty by hostile fire for more than 90 days, or the service member was forcibly detained or interned in the line of duty or a foreign entity for more than 90 days, or the service member is in a hospital or getting outpatient treatment for a service-connected permanent and total disability, is likely to be discharged for a disability. There's a lot to take in. So the basis of that is one of these criteria need to meet. The most common one is going to be the permanent and total rating. That's the one you're going to see the most. We don't see too many of these other ones, though. If it does meet the criteria where you're at, then of course you qualify as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you want to talk about VA home loans?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my most favorite things.
She used this, so she definitely knows a lot about this.
Yeah, so VA offers 3 home loan benefit programs, such as the purchase loans, cash out refinance home loans, and interest rate reduction, which is that IRR refinance loans to eligible surviving spouses of veterans and service members. One thing that I do know is that the minute that I got a VA home loan, I would say 6 months after, I started receiving a lot of documents and like marketing material for the IRRR. IRRR is what I call it, the interest rate reduction refinance. So I do know that that's out there, and I know that they are, looking to help us, but also, just, watch out for them. So these programs may be used to refinance a mortgage or help purchase, construct, or improve a home. So the requirements for this is to get a VA-backed home loan as a surviving spouse of a veteran. You'll need a certificate of eligibility to show your lender that you qualify for this benefit. You may be able to get this. It's also called a COE, but the certificate of eligibility if you're spouse of a veteran and at least one of these descriptions is true for them. All right, so the veteran is missing in action. The veteran is a prisoner of war. The veteran died while in service or from a service-connected disability and you didn't remarry, or the veteran died while in service or from a service-connected disability and you didn't remarry before you were 57 years old or before December 16th of 2003. Again, so much information here, but again, you can find all this on va.gov. Or the veteran has been totally disabled and then died, but their disability may not have been the cause of death. Okay, and this is in certain situations. So all in all here, initially we know that most veterans are going to be able to get the VA home loans, but this is basically saying that you can, as a surviving spouse, be able to receive benefits, these VA benefits as well, as long as you meet any of these criteria here. After your spouse has passed, sorry. Okay.
For sure. And then go ahead.
Oh, I was going to hop into this next one here, which is the Veterans Burial Allowance benefits. I have such a hard time saying that word, burial. Okay, so surviving dependents of a veteran who has died may be eligible to receive a VA burial allowance if they're paying for the burial and funeral costs, and you won't be reimbursed by any other organization like another government agency or the veteran's employer. So if you're eligible, you may receive these VA benefits. Okay, so VA burial allowance for the burial and funeral costs VA plot or interment allowance for the cost of the plot or gravesite, and VA transportation in reimbursement for the cost of transporting the veteran's remains to the final resting place. Okay, and requirements. One of these relationships or professional roles describes your connection to the veteran. You're the veteran's surviving spouse, and they wanted to put a note here that they recognize same-sex marriages, or you're the surviving partner from a legal union, a relationship made formal in a document issued by the state recognizing the union. You're a surviving child of the veteran. You're a parent of the veteran. You're the executor or administrator of the veteran's estate, so someone who officially represents you. You're a family member or friend who isn't the executioner of the veteran's estate, or you're a representative from a funeral home, cemetery, or other organization. The veteran must not have received dishonorable discharge, and one of these circumstances must be true. The veteran died as a result of a service-connected disability. The veteran died while getting VA care, either at a VA facility or at a facility contracted by the VA. Or the veteran died while traveling with proper authorization and at VA's expense, either to or from a facility for an examination or to receive treatment or care. The veteran died with an original or reopened claim for VA compensation or a pension pending at the time of death, if they would have been entitled to benefits before the time of death. Or the veteran died while receiving a VA pension or compensation, or the veteran died while eligible for VA pension or compensation at the time of death, but instead received full military retirement or disability pay. Other things, the veteran had been getting a VA pension or compensation when they died, or they had chosen to get military retirement pay instead of compensation. So it's either or. You can still receive this benefit here, even if they weren't collecting on their VA disability compensation pay. What you may need to do as a surviving spouse or family member or friend, provide copies of these documents to the VA, which would be the veteran's death certificate, including the cause of death, a copy of the veteran's DD-214 or other separation documents, or an itemized receipt for transportation costs. And again, that's only if you paid for transportation costs for the veteran's remains.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit about what is accrued VA benefits. So refer to unpaid benefits that the VA had already decided to award or had a sufficient evidence to grant before the claimant, such as a veteran or the dependent passed away. These unpaid benefits may be claimed by eligible surviving dependents, such as a spouse, child, or dependent parent, in a specific order or priority set by the VA. You may qualify if you're the surviving spouse, dependent, child, or dependent parent of a veteran who may owed unpaid benefits at the time of their death. VA pays accrued benefits first to the surviving spouse, then to the eligible children in equal shares, then to the dependent parents if no eligible survivor exists. Accrued benefits may be used to reimburse the person who paid the veteran's last illness or burial expenses. If there are no surviving spouse, eligible children, or dependent parent, VA may pay accrued benefits as a reimbursement for unpaid expenses related to the veteran's last illness or burial. So VA accrued benefits basic requirements. To receive accrued VA benefits, you must meet two main requirements. So unpaid VA benefits at the time of death, the VA owed payments to the deceased claimant based on decisions, ratings, or evidence already on file when the claimant passed away, but their payments were not issued before their death. Eligible relationship, you must be surviving spouse, child, or dependent parent of the deceased veteran or claimant. All right, and what evidence you may need to get the accrued benefits, you must provide the following documentation to the VA in support of the claim. So veteran service documents such as the veteran's DD-214 or equivalent separation documents, and of course the death certificate, like Nag was mentioned earlier, a copy of the veteran's death certificate that shows the cause of death. If your estate, and this is if applicable, if the person claiming accrued benefits is acting on behalf of the estate, they must provide a certified copy of the letters of the administration of the testamentary signed and sealed by the appointed court in order to be able to be that representation. Reimbursement claims for the final expenses. So any final expenses that weren't paid for by the VA, if you had to pay for extra expenses for that reimbursement, they can possibly do that as well. If you're claiming reimbursement for the veteran last illness or burial expenses include. So this is the list of things that it's possible. So billing or account of statements for service and supplies, and these statements must be on the official letterhead of the service provider, i.e., the hospital or the funeral home. Proof of payment, so receipts, canceled checks, any kind of things that you could use for documentation for proof of payment, showing dates, nature, costs of service provided, the name of the deceased veteran, and who paid for the service and supplies. Okay, and we're going to kick it back over to Natalie, talk about the Survivor Benefit Plan, the SBP.
Okay, so when a military retiree passes away, their retirement pay stops. Okay, so that's important to know. So the Survivor Benefit Plan, or SBP, is a program that ensures continued financial support for their dependents, providing a lifetime monthly annuity to eligible beneficiaries. Upon the service member's death, the plan provides up to 55% of their retired pay as a monthly annuity to the designated beneficiary. All right, so there's automatic coverage, which is active duty service members and reserve components members who die due to a service-connected cause while performing inactive duty training receive automatic, no-cost SBP coverage. And then there's the optional coverage at retirement, which an active duty member can purchase SBP coverage upon retirement, and reserve component members can elect coverage once they have completed 20 years of qualifying service for reserve retired pay. SBP ensures financial stability and peace of mind for service members and their families by continuing income support when it's needed most.
Now I go ahead and cover the state benefits.
So
state benefits.
You said you're going to take them?
Yeah, I'll take the state tax benefits for surviving spouse for disabled veterans. So many state offers variety or various property tax benefits to the surviving spouse of a disabled veteran, and most applications for property tax exemptions are handled at the county level. So you have to go to that county office or the clerk where you do your taxes and refer to that. You can search online for county tax assessors or appraisal districts website will provide the specific forms and instructions you need to apply. So every state, every county is going to be a little bit different. Here in Texas, you bring your award letter, and that's pretty much it. That's all you need to bring for that purposes. So with that, we do have a lot of extra time here, but that's okay. You'll have a lot of time to be able to talk about some other things. If you're stuck, frustrated, and really just want to get things started, and you want to have that call and you want to talk about that free discovery call, definitely get on with one of the veteran ambassadors and start talking about the things that you feel you deserve. And again, if you're just ready and you've already understand it, you heard it from a buddy, excuse me, you heard it from a buddy and you wanted to go ahead and get started, you can get booked with one of us or one of the other coaches on this team too, of course. So we can kick it over to the questions and get those things rolling and start out with Jerry. He was a Marine mechanic back in 74 to 77, and you developed heart failure. Can you collect compensation for toxic exposure? You could. It depends if it's covered underneath the what's known as the PACT Act or one of the other presumptive factors that could be played into. Now, if you're looking at toxic exposure like AFFF or fuels or something like that, you may need a nexus statement of something that says this is more likely or least likely or not caused by this exposure. Let's talk a little bit about exposure in itself, okay? I know you have a condition, but this is for the whole group and the whole crowd and for the whole call here. exposure in itself is not a claimable condition. You need to have a diagnosis of some condition. So Jerry, you have a diagnosis for heart failure. It might be CAD or something like that. That was part of that too. So just for everybody else, exposure in itself is not a claimable condition. So if you're exposed to burn pits, you're exposed to Agent Orange, that exposure in itself is not a claimable condition. You need to have a diagnosis that's covered underneath the PACT Act. We have some great blogs about what's covered underneath the PACT Act per the PACT Act for 2022.
Yep. And then you mentioned a nexus. So a nexus, for all those that may not know what that is a medical professional's opinion that will make that connection of this diagnosis to that in-service event or to that toxic exposure. Okay, but it wouldn't be anything like a presumptive, like Ian was saying. If it doesn't fall under one of those presumptive lists, it may be something that you have to actually get connected again with substantial evidence.
And the word collusion you'll hear a lot too. So what she's talking about is the link between the diagnosis and the in-service event. That link, that nexus, that statement links those two together. And you'll hear the Calusa triangle or the VACI's golden circle. If you are part of the program, you already know what that is. If you're not, of course, you'll learn that once you become a part of the program. And again, if you're on the fence, get on that discovery call with one of the veteran ambassadors, or like I said, we can go to the website and you can just sign up, or you can sign up with one of our links here too on this call as well, on this live. Now you want to take that next question with C Boogie 72.
72. Hello. Okay, so you're retired, 20-year Navy reservist, and you did 3 years active duty and you're now at 80% disabled. You were working with another organization and they couldn't represent you. I can sign up. Sorry, there's another one here. So I'm with Veteran Legal now, and you can sign up with VA Claims Insider, even with a lawyer, and I reside in New Jersey. I'm in need of help to get to 100%. We don't necessarily suggest that you sign up with multiple places at once, just because, of course, there can be some legal complications there, but there can also be some issues with finance. If you have to pay them, you wouldn't necessarily want to be caught in the middle of having to pay multiple organizations. Hey, Ian, do you recall about New Jersey?
There is some legal things with the state of New Jersey that adheres from. There's specific verbiage in there too that we're not allowed to, due to the state requirements that you guys have. We're not allowed to be able to educate you on the process, and I'm sure QC can put something in there too along with that as well to kind of put that into light and what that actually means. But overall, seek out what you deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. VTRC is saying, is radon testing required to get a VA home loan? I would say not. I would say no. I've had multiple VA home loans. Radon testing was never a thing that was ever brought up.
Yeah, I'd second that. I've never, when I've gone through the process, because I'm not a homeowner yet, but the process I've seen so far, that wasn't one of the things that they mentioned.
As far as I've seen, it's just getting that COE and going through the process like you would with anyone else. They'll assign you a representative, someone that can help you find the homes that you're looking for, mortgage lending, and then help you close on the home. It's pretty seamless. It seemed like any other process. It's just getting that COE and seeing what you're eligible for as far as like how much house you can buy.
Got a couple other ones here too. So Mark Nichols, surviving benefits upon the death. How long do I have to be rated 100% for my spouse to qualify for monetary benefits? I believe you put that in there too. You have to be married for up to the 10-year mark in order for them to receive that benefit. And and unmarried at a certain point too, I believe, as well, as far as that point goes too. There's a couple different benefits that Coach Natalie mentioned too. There's DIC and there's the SBP program too. So there's a couple different criterias. Obviously, VA.gov is going to be your friend. They're going to have, if you didn't get everything, if you didn't write anything down, or if you didn't have all the information, always use VA.gov as a resource. And we also have some blogs, so check out that as well too. So every blog that we do here at VACI will also have those things in there too, and the different resources or different questions that are asked or answered in there too, to be able to kind of bring those to light. But as far as the qualification, I believe it's 10 years being married.
Correct. Let's see. I'm 100% permanent in total. Robert Culbertson. 100% permanent in total. My wife has CHAMPVA. Does she need other health insurance if she goes to the VA hospital? No. The question is a little confusing. So you're the veteran. You have 100% permanent in total. I would need to know, is she the veteran as well? Because usually CHAMPVA is outside of the VA hospital, right? It's like a network of doctors that work in tandem with the VA. And so the spouse doesn't typically go to the VA to use those benefits. The veteran does. And then CHAMPVA is like an extension of that, similarly to us as vets if we want to use community care. That's the best way that it was described to me and that I can describe it to you all. But wouldn't necessarily need any other health care insurance. If you have health insurance, then I believe CHAMPVA is fairly good. I've had that compared to TRICARE. It's like the VA side of TRICARE.
I mean, it's your choice, Robert. If you want to get additional insurance, you can always have additional insurance. But the VA, the CHAMPVA covers your spouse for the purpose that you're 100%. And then Bell, if a veteran was exposed to burn pits and he's deceased, can the spouse apply through the PACT Act? I would say get with the resources that are on VACI or VA Claims Insider, but I do believe that you can apply for the benefit. It was based off of something that they were exposed to. That might be a VA question. I don't know the full specifics on that. I don't want to give you the wrong answer. So VA.gov could be your friend, or the 1-800-827-1000 number, because those are very specific things that we generally don't touch on too much. But I do know that and it was covered in this as well, if the spouse was deceased due to a medical illness that was caused by service, the service connection is going to be the big part of it too. So that may be a question for a VSR at VA for the 1-800-827-1000 number, like I mentioned before, or just going on VA.gov and asking the question on there too, because they have a lot of Q&As on there as well.
This is if they were diagnosed and they were receiving some compensation already. You can't file new claims after the veteran has passed. So for that condition to add more compensation, because everything pretty much stops when that veteran passes. And then if you qualify based on the time that they passed, what compensation they're already receiving, then you can receive some level of dependency compensation post that. But you can't add new claims to the veteran after they've passed away. Let's see, this next question. If your claim says processing, what step is it in? Well, it could be in a number of stages. As soon as you submit that claim, it's being processed. It could be in the stage where they are setting up a compensation and pension exam. It can be in a stage where it's going to a rater and the rater is getting ready to review everything and make their decision. It could be in the decision ready stage. It's always processing at the moment that you submit that claim, all the way up until you receive a decision.
In the stage, whenever you're processing a claim or going through the process with the claim, it's going to tell you what stage you're in, and it should tell you which which section you're in. So it'd be in step 1 or step 2 or step 3.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in 1 through 3, you probably haven't had a CMP exam. Once you have a CMP exam, you generally move over to step 5 or step 4. So that's the generalization of that too. And of course, if you're with your coach, you guys can discuss those things on your game plan call, your strat call.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you're not and you're on the fence, again, get with one of the veteran ambassadors for that discovery call. And I'm going to reiterate this too. If you're just ready to go and you've been on the fence, but you're just biting at the bit, go ahead and get signed up with one of us or one of the other coaches on the team.
And if you're curious on how to determine which stage, or at least get a little bit more of a description, you can go into your va.gov under My VA. Usually that's when you first log in. It'll put you onto your profile, which is considered My VA. You can go to claims and appeals, and it'll break down where your open claim is and what stage it's in. So that's what Ian was just talking about. You can see the steps, and it'll give more of a description. Are you in step 1, stage 2? And it'll give more of a description on what's happening.
For sure. Robert, congratulations on your 100%. Glad that we could educate you on the process, and thanks for the kudos, I guess, overall, and glad you got there. So appreciate you. And then I'll move on to Felicia here. My husband got out of the military in 78. He was in Camp Lejeune and had a stroke and neurology problems, but then gave home 3% for tinnitus. He has only other issues, and we don't know what to do. We're here in Georgia. So the 3%, I'm thinking here, we're talking about probably a raw score percentage that you got for that, basis off of your overall percentage. The rating for tinnitus is not 3%; it's a 10%. But how VA math works, it can look at as it giving you only 3 points, basis off of what your residual leftover is. And we could get into VA math a little bit too, but overall, if you go into vaclaimsinsider.com and use the calculator that's built into that, it'll explain to you a little bit better what you're actually getting for an overall score. So if you give me a better perspective of what he has overall, but Camp Lejeune and all that stuff, there's some issues there too, where they have recognized that. I believe it's part of the PACT Act too, and those could be considered as a presumptive basis off of whatever condition it is, and if it's part of the criteria that Camp Lejeune has for presumptives under the PACT Act. Does that help, Felicia?
We'll find out. She might have to send it in a moment.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll move on to the next one.
So one thing that I would like to say, because I'm looking at Luann Roberts, you have a deceased spouse, you never had help of any kind. A lot of time has passed by. It may or may not be too late, but what I would say, another resource that folks can use, you can reach out to the VA. They have their 1-800 hotline number that's for all things benefits, and you can really just ask them, because that's not a question I'd be able to truly answer for you. My hope is that the answer is yes, but that they would be able to assist you. But quite a bit of time has passed by, and we don't know all of the details on, how long you guys were married, or, those types of details, what percentage he was at. So I think that maybe you can just reach out and call that number. It's 1-800-827-1000. That's the VA benefits hotline number. And someone would be able to assist you with answering that question. And that's for anyone. That hotline is great for all things benefits. Every time I call, it's pretty quick to get in touch with them. It's pretty user-friendly, so I would check that out. Okay, let's see.
Gotcha. Amy's got a question here too. My husband was in the Gulf War, has PTSD diagnosis. He has essential tremors of both hands that interferes with using tools, drinking, eating, writing. What would be the best way to file a claim? Good question. I would definitely get on the horn with one of our veteran ambassadors and org get with one of us as a coach, and we could work at the game plan to figure out exactly what it is. Does he need a nexus? Is there enough information in his records to be able to prove nexus and stuff like that too? So it's going to be a big part of, and if you're late in the call and you didn't hear what a nexus is, that's basically what links the diagnosis to the in-service event. If he has what's called a sentinel event, and there's video, and there's an award like a Purple Heart or a Combat Action Ribbon or a Combat Action Badge, those could represent for that part too. But really digging into a game plan is going to be a bigger part. If he already has a coach, have him get to his coach, have him talk about those things. But if you're brand new and you're just coming in here, like I said before, either get on a call with one of the veteran ambassadors, establish and see if this is a fit for you, or if you're just on the fence and you think, okay, I'm just ready and I've got enough stuff here and I don't want to just get rolling, get on the call with one of us and we'll be happy to educate him through the process and get him what he deserves. Amy, I hope that answers your question. Nat, you got anything to add?
No, I think you hit it right on the head there.
Mr. Chambers has got a really good question. It's a pretty common one.
I separated over 60 days ago, and my BDD claim is still in step 5. How much longer is this supposed to take? I thought the goal of BDD is to have a rating 30 days after separation. You know, that is the goal. I just had a vet that was going through this process as well. It didn't come right at that separation or within those 30 days, but it came fairly close. Really, it's supposed to be around that time. That is what the VA, that is what the military, what they're telling, you all telling us. Really, it could be any day now, or it could be a number of more weeks, right? It could be months. Unfortunately, there is no timeline on VA claims. So there's a lot of moving pieces that go into deciding a claim, as well as trying to get the claim decided in a timely manner. There can be factors that slow that process down. And so I'm sorry that it's taking longer than the time period for you to, get this decision, but I'm sure it'll come. And when it comes, it should be something good for you.
And Larry is working on increasing his rating to 100%, which he's currently at 60. So kudos. You have scoliosis that is highlighted throughout the medical records, in which it has gotten worse over years, particularly after retirement 2 years ago. Any idea, will they rate it? Well, it depends on medical evidence, right? We're going to talk about what we were talking about with the Kaluza triangle. Do you meet all the 3 criteria that they're looking for? Do you have a diagnosis? Do you have really good continuity of care? Is it chronic? Is there chronicity in the condition too? We didn't talk about that at all. But those 2 other criteria also, they're looking for those things too. And do you have an in-service event that caused it? In the continuity of care, we're talking about, I complained about my knee in service, but never complained about it till 20 years later. Okay, that's not continuity of care. We're talking about, I complained about my knee, then I went to the VA after I got out, so on and so on and so on. Is it possible to get service connected for a disability even if you complain about it 20 years later? Yes. But a nexus is more likely to be a possibility for that factor alone. You need that link to be able to show the causation. In strong secondaries, knees can be secondary to other conditions, can be more likely too. But again, going to highlight this again. If you're not already aboard and a part of VACI, get with a coach, get on that discovery call and get the ball rolling. But Larry, best of luck. You're not over the hump, but you're over the 50% hump, right? Yeah. So you're kicking the ball and you're moving along. So keep rolling, keep staying motivated, and hopefully these calls, these lives educate you guys more and more.
Yeah, and what I would like to add here is, we've been talking about the Kaluza triangle quite a bit, right? So in-service event or aggravation, current diagnosis, making sure you have that in that nexus. Ian just brought in chronicity of care is also important. When it comes to the rating, we at VACI, we talk about one other piece that's important, and that is that severity, frequency, duration of your symptoms. That's going to really move that needle from a 0% to a higher rating. So they can say, yes, you're service connected for, the scoliosis. However, if we don't know how bad it is, how often it flares up, how long it lasts, and really for those types of conditions, musculoskeletal, you're looking at range of motion. you can go in there and overperform and end up with a 10% rating when you probably should have been at a 40 or something, right? So we can't really fully give you the answer on that because it's going to be based off of your mobility more so. If they decide it should be service connected, that next piece for the VA is, well, how well are you able to move that body part? So Truth Scout says, is it normal to be in step 5 for over 90 days? My favorite quote is, everything's normal and everything's abnormal with the VA, especially when it comes to timelines, which we were just speaking about in a previous question. So we're never shocked by anything that comes, 90 days. I've had some vets that have to wait 8 months to a year for a decision. I would say that's not normal, but because it happens, it's also normal, right? So I'll say, yeah, 90 days in the same stage can be normal. What we typically, encourage is that you reach out to the VA if you feel like there's a concern about the wait time. If you feel like so much time has gone by, it's been 5 months, 6 months, then just go ahead and do a quick check-in.
For sure. Francisco Moreno said, first, thank you for all your help. 100% PNT. You have tried to enroll in CHAMPVA instead of TRICARE retiree. The local VA hospital and over the phone VA line have no idea what I'm talking about. How do I enroll? Clarifying, are you trying to enroll in the TRICARE for retirees, or are you trying to enroll in CHAMPVA for your spouse and your kids? That'd be the clarifying question to that. Second to that, if you are trying to and you're retired, something we didn't mention here in the call is if you are retired, I don't know if they still do it, if they give you an election or whatever, but when I went through this process, this is my experience. Okay, so I'm explaining to you on that sense. I didn't know. So like I said before, I'm medically retired. They denied the claim. They said you're retired, so you're afforded to the TRICARE program. So I would say that's the clarifying question. If you tried to apply for TRICARE retirees, or if you're trying to apply for CHAMPVA, and they're probably going to give you either the election, which is I've heard that story before, or you're going to have to go for TRICARE for retirees because you're afforded that option as a retiree.
Yeah, that's not the exact question that we were mulling over.
It was, and it's been kind of back and forth. Of course, I applied CHAMPVA 3 years ago, so the process could have changed. They could have given the election to bill to either you de-elect from TRICARE for retirees and elect for CHAMPVA, or vice versa. So it's more of a probably a CHAMPVA question, and get in contact with them. They do have a number, and if we could drop in the CHAMPVA blog, there's a very good blog on VACI about this too, that describes how to apply all those things that are on the portal, or I'm sorry, on the VA Claims Insider website, and it will explain how this all plays out and how it works.
Okay, another question. So from Mr. Robert Culbertson, another question, like previously stated, you're 100%, and they say that you still have an open claim. You're not sure why. So no, they will not just close it. They may still go through the full process until it gets to the point of closing. So they'll go through the process of making a decision on it. If you are happy at your 100%, suggestion here would be that you withdraw that open claim yourself. And the best way to do that would be to fill out a statement and support a claim and send it directly over to the VA withdrawing it. So that's your statement would be requesting that it's withdrawn. I've seen this go a number of ways. Sometimes, if the claim that is still open gets decided, it could affect the other percentages that you already have, or it could not. My suggestion, if it were me and that happened to me as well, I would say just close it and withdraw it.
And then another question here, this will probably be our last one for the day. 100% PNT for over 10 years. If I pass, what does my wife qualify for, and how does she get it? Again, we talked about DIC benefits and the SPP program. Definitely research those programs that we talked about here on the call and see where you qualify for. But the 10-year mark for being married is the big part of it. They talk about 10 years a lot. And then her being unmarried for a certain period too. So check those out. Go to va.gov, check out the qualifications if you didn't write them down while on the call. But thanks for joining us. We're going to have some closing remarks and talking about what the topic was, and we're talking about today was the all the programs for DIC. What's beyond the claim? DIC benefits, healthcare, and education benefits, and what those were. We're talking about the dependency education program. We talked about DIC, the SPP program, burial benefits, and a lot of the educational benefits that are on there too, as well as what you're offered to, and qualifications. What are those? VAClaimsinsider.com will be a good website for you to check out and resource. And of course, va.gov will be your friend as well. So again, thanks for joining us. Natalie, it's always a pleasure. Strategy, education, medical evidence. Okay. Get that one-on-one coaching. If you're not already on board, get with one of us as a coach or get on that free discovery call. Again, you're going to have a one-on-one coach. Okay. You're going to have one of us with our coaching team, with our EPCs as well too. Okay. So that strategy session is a big part of it. The game plan, your journey to your claims. Okay. And then we're going to reiterate this probably 100 times. We can't submit the claims for you, but we can educate you on the process while you're on the phone. Okay. Claim submission education. We have a ton of classes that are afforded to you to be able to learn how this is all done. We have a ton of blogs on there and a bunch of videos on there too for you to check out. CMP education classes that are also afforded to you. We have three times a day. We have live classes via Zoom. Coffee with the coaches Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In fact, I'm doing one on Friday, so you'll see me again if you join. And then mental health on both Monday and Thursday. CMP education class for medical conditions both Monday and Tuesday, and so on and so on. And check out Brian's new book, VA Claims Secrets, is now available to order yours now on Amazon.com today. And of course, you want to learn more, schedule a discovery call, talk to one of our team members by going to vaclaims.help. Reach out to our organization at vaclaimsinsider.com. We love to partner with you on your VA claim journey. Natalie, it's always a pleasure to do a class with you. Happy to see everyone here. Thank you again for your service, veterans to veteran. And we'll see you guys next time. As we always say, you can stick around, but you can't stay here. But we'd love to have you guys here always. Have a great day. Thanks so much.